Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1077, written by Zandir101, The Literal Elephant in the Room. This was back in the early 90s. I think it was 92 or 93. We were living in a very small town in Texas. I had been learning to play the piano for a while, and was at a recital that was taking place at a church. I remember it being packed with people, all families and relatives wanting to see their kids play the piano. I was standing in a room off to the right of the stage where a bunch of kids were waiting for our turn. As I watched the other kids play the piano and finish, I watched several of them walk into a door behind the stage, in plain view of the audience, so I figured that was where I was supposed to go after I performed. So once it was my turn, after the shock of seeing all those people, I played my piece, Ode to Joy, and stood up, took a bow, and as everyone clapped, I walked to the door where I saw other kids go. Now here is a glitch or whatever. Once I opened the door, I saw the strangest thing, and to this day I cannot find any rational or logical explanation for it. It was a pretty decently sized room, kind of like a half-normal classroom, and in the middle was, and I am not even joking, an elephant. At least that's what my mind thought, with all kinds of weird colorful sashes, tinsel, or metallic streamers, all in every color imaginable. And there was a kid to the right side of it standing on a ladder, and another behind, probably standing on a ladder as well, as if they were the ones putting the streamers or whatever on the elephant. There was no other exit in the room, and no way to get an elephant or whatever it was in there. I know I saw several kids go into this door, but only two stood there, and they were looking at me as if I wasn't supposed to be seeing this. It only lasted a few seconds, but that image has been ingrained in me since. I shut the door. The audience was laughing, but I wasn't embarrassed, just extremely confused. Interestingly enough, there is a video of all this from my dad's perspective in the audience. Of course, you don't see what I saw in the room, but you can clearly see the confusion and shock on my face. To this day, both my parents remember me telling them, and it's been a mystery to me ever since. Case notes for file 1077, The Literal Elephant in the Room. This makes me want to go rewatch Jumanji. Fantastic classic movie. Not the remake, I didn't see that one. I don't know if it's good, but the original is just classic. All I can think is some kind of time perception anomaly is involved. But even that, I don't think there were elephants in Texas back in the day. Pretty sure no. Maybe I'm wrong. Outside of that, maybe it wasn't a real elephant. Maybe it was some class project that they were doing in the church. They were building like a mock elephant for some maybe parade. Case file number 1078, written by AsexualNinja, Parallel Universe or Payment Error. Early last month, I went online to pay a bill, like I've done for years. I get to the last page before finishing, and the web page freaks out, with a multitude of display issues before finally receiving an error message. After several attempts to pay, I give up, assuming the site is having issues. I go back 2 days later and pay my bill, and it goes through normally, with me getting my usual text and email notifying me I paid. I'm very confused a few weeks later when I check my email and find a notice from the company whose bill I paid, with a semi-threatening email saying the bill is due that day, and do I need to set up a payment plan? I've been dealing with this company for almost a decade, and have never been late in paying. I checked my credit card account, and there's no record of me paying, nor are the text or email I received still in my records. I pay the bill and chalk it up to a senior moment on my part. Last week, I got one credit card bill. It says I never paid my last bill, so now I've got that bill to pay plus the interest. I find my previous bill, open but with the invoice in place, in my living room. Here's why I'm posting. I'm physically disabled and can't drive, and I always pay that credit card bill in person after they flucked up my payment years ago. A family member always takes me to my credit union to pay that bill, and like me, he remembers us going down to pay the bill they say I never paid. He and I even remember a conversation we had on the way down to the credit union, and going grocery shopping afterward, and yet the bill is unpaid, and the bill is in my possession still. Case notes for file 1078, Parallel Universe or Payment Error. So this could certainly be some sort of accounting error on their end. Even if you physically go into the branch, human error can occur. They have to input that you paid in cash, and then maybe if they didn't update it or there was an error on their program and their servers or something, it can happen. That said, the universe isn't as stable as we all like to pretend it is, that's clear. There are cases where people are paying for groceries and somehow the card in their pocket is charged, even though it's not the one they're actually tapping on the payment processor. The information or code may be slightly jumbled up, enough for the instability to manifest in little tech glitches like this. Bonus file written by Santiagodelavega. I had a near-death experience at 15. This is what I saw. I was staying in the hospital after a concussion at 15 years old and landed on my back and head on concrete. I had been out for a few days, only waking for short periods and not able to keep food or drink down. They gave me multiple CAT scans as I wasn't coming to as expected, and they thought I was badly brain damaged. My hospital bed, I was told later, as I have no memories of the visit except for when I was rolled out in a wheelchair, had the side rails up, and I was somehow strapped in as my equilibrium was flucked up, and I couldn't get out of it without nurse assistance. Except I did get up. This is hard to write. It's just so hard to explain the feeling of this moment. I got up, stepped over my mom who was sleeping on a mat on the floor, and walked to the window to see this amazing view of the hills cast in the early dawn light. I looked at the cars way down in the parking lot, the trees behind that wall, the houses and roads and nature leading to the hillside. I felt, I guess, reset. No pain, no memory, no idea why I was there or where there was. I knew it was me, the way you do, but all the stuff that would normally have been running through my head was absent. I felt completely lucid, still, fresh, new, and very much at peace. I never felt that way before or since. Drugs never come in with such clarity. Except I didn't get up. I couldn't have. It wasn't possible. Yet I know to my core, in the way you feel yet can't describe in words, that I saw what I did. And I know that I was there, awake, looking out of that window at one of the clearest visions my eyes have ever witnessed. With this incredible feeling of redemption, renewal? I don't know, but it felt incredible and so true to my human being. I don't know. I remember it like a one-man alien abduction with no rear probing. The next few weeks, I needed help walking, eating, etc. And it was months before I was okay again. I still have minor equilibrium issues 20 years later. I was at the hospital with a friend recently and saw the view from the same floor, but on the wrong side. Chills, man. I feel like maybe that was the first time I became aware of my soul. But everyone experiences that, and most don't need concussions to get there. Case notes for the bonus file. I had a near-death experience at 15. This is what I saw. So lucid awareness of astral projection, where your soul detaches from your body, typically does happen when one is dreaming. The soul is permitted to detach from the mind, but still maintains a loose connection to it. Obviously it returns. It's incredible just from imagining it per people's descriptions. I mean, I hope one day I experience it too. And it sounds like in this case, I think people describe it as like an ego death, where it's just the grand appreciation of the universe and our little tiny position in it. You know, it's not to diminish us, it's just to have greater perspective, I think is the word. Yeah. It's amazing. Now time for the quote of the day. You cannot plow a field by turning it over in your mind. To begin, begin. Gordon B. Hinckley. If you have any kind of passion project or hobby, or anything you're taking that you want to take a step further, just do me a favor. Set aside 30 minutes a day to devote to it. And maybe it won't pan out, but just devote to it for, at least a month. Try it out, really focus on it, and then you've started. Maybe the field you're starting to plow isn't what you're going to want, or maybe you're planting corn, but eventually you want wheat. I don't know. But you'll never know unless you try. So try. Like the video, subscribe. Kinetic Symphony signing off.